Hi, everybody. Josh Griffin here from Download Youth Ministry, hanging out today talking about the National Day of Volunteer Youth Ministry Training with my friend Kellen, one of our speakers. Kellen, how are you, man?
Hey, Josh, I'm super excited. I'm over the moon for this National Day of Youth Training. Like, I'm really jazzed up. This is new to me. This is fun. And anytime I get to interact with you, it's a blast and a half.
You're too kind. I would send that right back your way. We've been able to do a lot of events and some great ministry and conferences together. And for the now our seventh National Day, it is your
Whoa.
first time. How cool is that?
I'm pumped. It was really cool when you asked me. I was able to hop on and see what you guys have done in the past. And I was talking to my wife, Katie, who you guys will meet a little bit later. And we were just so excited that this is a thing that exists for volunteers, for pastors, for youth leaders. I love it.
Yeah, and now this year we're adding the kids ministry version as well, which you get to be a part of, which is insane. And spoiler alert, we did recruit your wife to be in the youth version as well. So anyhow, it's a 2-for-1 deal.
Getting all the
Although,
wars.
yeah, there wasn't a lot of discount, but it was a 2-for-1 deal. We'll take it. We'll take it. Hey, for those people that might not know who you are, Kellen, they're tired of hearing from me already. They want to hear from you. So who are you? Where do you serve? What's your church and ministry life like these days? And just give everybody a little snapshot of who you are.
Yeah, my name's Kellen, and I've been in active full-time ministry since 2009. And I've worked with middle school, which that's where we first bonded. Still love middle school ministry. And over the last few years, I've kind of navigated through life and ended up in children's ministry. I still help with middle school, but kids is like one of my focuses. And me and my wife, Katie, we currently live in Corona, California, where our city church is located. And I've been doing this ministry thing since, like I said, 2009, and there's no signs of stopping. I partnered with Download Youth Ministry. I partner with other organizations out there that make curriculum for all over the world, and I'm pumped up for this. So I think I have experience. I have a little bit of education, and I'm just I listen. I got my bachelor's and said I'm done with formal education. It was a lot. I just couldn't do anymore. But I love practicals. That was one of my number one things getting into ministry. I love pragmatics. I love getting in there and making ministry happen the way Christ did. So that's a little bit about me. I'm also 6'7". You can't tell by this or when you see me later on film, but I'm a very tall human and I only weigh like $170. So
Yeah, to
knows?
me, I like to say you stand out in a crowd because not for any particular reason, except you are incredibly skinny and incredibly tall. I mean, you are,
Yes.
I stand out for other reasons like, oh, was he in an accident? But that's okay. You know, dude, I feel the same way as well about the bachelor degree. Like I'm in, I got it. And that's good enough. That's good enough.
Yeah.
Let's get in the trenches. Let's do
I'll learn on the
ministry.
job. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You've been doing youth ministry a long time. How did you know, like you've done youth ministry, kids ministry? I love that you love the local church. I mean, that's my heart too. But how'd you know kids ministry was for you? Did you just, as you got into it, you're like, this is my sweet spot?
Yeah. When I was I think I was in high school, there was a kids pastor at my church in Lancaster, California. And he said, "Hey, do you want a job?" And I was like, yeah. And so I started serving in kids ministry as a sophomore in high school, doing the object lesson and cleaning up the room. That was my two jobs. Like do the one, all right, here's a pear and the fruit of the spirit. And then I would the kids leave and I was responsible for cleaning. And I got the bug. And by the time it was my senior year, I was that children's pastor's assistant. So I put together all the slideshows. I print all the curriculum because that's how we did it back in the day. You had to print all the curriculum and give it to the team leads. And I just felt in love with children's ministry. Got to college. I got a degree in pastoral with a focus in youth. So my initial thing was youth ministry. The long and short is churches sometimes go through financial difficulties, and our church did. So they said, hey, we would love if you can step in the kids ministry because you have some experience. And so I did. And so for about a year and a half, I was a kids pastor and associate youth pastor. And I felt like I was doing okay at both, but really couldn't excel in either one. But it was school of hard knocks I learned. And eventually my mentor, my pastor, Chris Harrell, said, hey, I see in you children's ministry. You can be a phenomenal children's pastor. And that little encouragement and influence kind of pushed me in the trajectory of kids ministry. And I've been doing it full time at our church for the last 6 years.
It's awesome.
And to answer that question, like that bug, and you know this, Josh, I just knew I was called to full-time ministry. And if I never got paid by the church, I would feel incomplete if I wasn't working for the church. And that was just always my heart. And so that's how I got into it. I stinking love kids. They're the funnest humans ever. I love adults. In kids ministry, you have to work with volunteers, so you have to work with adults. That's the prerequisite of safety. But working with kids, man, they're so fun. They're so curious. And you could not curate the answers they will give you if you allow them to speak and to deep dive and to ask questions. I love
So
it.
true. So good. I love your story is incredible. I mean, one, there's some constraints that pushed you in a direction of need. You said yes, which is awesome.
Yep.
And then somebody saw something in you and said, God's going to use this. And here we are. You've helped so many youth workers, children's workers all across the country. And now stepping into the National Day, super excited for that too. So thanks for
really
saying
pumped.
yes and answering God's call. That's great. Now you're
Thank
a dad
you.
too. So has the idea of kids ministry changed because you have a kid that will, nursery right now, but eventually it won't be long till they're in your kids ministry. How is that shaping your thinking and all that?
Josh, you couldn't guess how many baseboards I've cleaned since my son was born, because now I'm paranoid about everything. The nursery's great, but this has to be clean because my son is here. So there's a little bit of added dad pressure of I want my son to have the best experience. And it really has, truth be told, it has upped my game on volunteer recruitment and volunteer training. Now, beforehand, I'll say this, I wasn't neglecting the needs of these kids. I wasn't neglecting it. But after having my son, it did show me some pain points that I can get better at. And so setting the environment, wonderful at. Volunteer recruitment, okay at. Training, when I got him in the room, I'm phenomenal. Now the systematic getting him in the room or sending that email, that's where I'm still working on. But I think that's the number one thing, is just understanding the importance of volunteerism and equipping. And those days that I have to go, teach a class, or I'm on stage hosting, or I'm preaching, I have, volunteers, a couple of interns now that they are quote unquote directors for my Sunday morning services. And so it's training, developing, influencing, and releasing. So all in a year and a half. On top of that, being tired because he's 18 months. But man, Josh, I would not, I know your kids are older, but I would not change it it's so fun.
It is. It really is the best. And when I had my teenagers, they're older now, but when they were in youth ministry, I felt like they were unfiltered when they would give me feedback. Yeah. So how my message was, how the night was, how our leaders are doing, the philosophy of ministry, everything, because I was getting enormous feedback. So awesome. And sometimes painful. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I love that you get to bring not only your passion for kids in your church, but now as a dad, bring all of that to the National Day as you help train children's workers all over the country. I mean, that's going to be awesome too. And I love that you're a practitioner too. Like, you're in the church. So many people that teach youth ministry or children's ministry, whatever, they aren't in it anymore. And they teach you what used to work back in the 1900s. And, we are deep into 2025 now. Yeah. And I love that you're still doing it every week. And certainly I'm doing the same thing, a little bit older, my, junior high ministry. So thrilled that you're in it and you're still learning and growing, and you're going to speak too. It's going to be great. Tell us a little bit about give a little preview of what you're going to share at the National Day. Don't spoil it, because we're all going to be there, but give me at least the title. Give me the elevator pitch. All right. We're going up 3 floors, so it doesn't have to be very long.
Perfect. I'm going to cross off my notes that actually had spoilers now that I got that I wrote that earlier. And now I'm going to fine-tune them. I'm super excited. This is what I'm going to speak on, is something that's been in my heart for, almost a decade now. And it's 4 easy wins in kids ministry. And I know when you hear that, you're like, oh, I need those. What are they? It's 4 simple things that can create environments for your kids to want to be a part of. It'll simplify, excuse me. It will simplify.
It won't simplify that word, but
it won't simplify that word, but it will be good. It will simplify your approach in making parents feel safe and willing to drop their kids off in your care. and it will help give direction for your volunteers in the classroom. Now, regardless of what curriculum, whatever the order of services, these 4 things will lock in a kid's heart to you presenting the gospel. So I'm really excited for this talk.
Man, that is terrific. I'm fired up for it too. Easy wins is my love
Easy
language.
wins.
So 4 easy
agreed.
wins, I'm like, I could take 2. The other 2, I'm just going to let go. But I'm going to take 2.
That's
And,
okay.
Easy wins feel like a great like cheat code. So like, or whatever, like a wormhole. Just like get to the win. That's what I need. So I'm so excited that you're going to be sharing, and that's terrific. Give me something that you're doing right now for your volunteers in your youth ministry to whatever, train, encourage, sustain them. I'm just curious, just give us one little tip that you've seen work recently, that you're like, this is a game changer for my volunteers too, just as a little freebie today too.
Yeah, for me personally, I'm words of affirmation. If we use the 5 love languages, I love words and I love giving words, even if my wife is not words of affirmation. She will get the words that I will give. That's a whole story for another time. But
yeah, this isn't therapy, Kellen. There's only so much we can do.
Well, you're on the call and, you have experience.
Welcome back to our marriage and family therapy session with Kellen. All right, so you're a words of affirmation guy. So your volunteers, they're getting words all the time.
Yes, they're getting words all the time. And one thing that I'm training a couple of my interns to do as well, because they would like to get into ministry, is to read the room and notice your volunteers. To give the quickest story, we were having a team huddle, and one of my volunteers was not looking themselves. They were there, they were ready, had the team shirt on, was ready to serve, was just not looking themselves. So I left the room. I texted one of my interns that, hey, can you check in on this leader? She checked in, and what we found was she just needed a break. Like, life is crazy. And so what we did is now we're implementing a once a month intentional break for her, because she's been working hard since we planted this church 6 years ago. And so it's simply noticing your team and being aware of your team and not being so bogged down by the curriculum. Are the videos working? Is the hallway clean? But looking at the people that you need to sustain a ministry. And so that's the one tidbit I would give, is just notice your team, notice their highs and lows, and be intentional with the text of how are you doing. So that's what we've been doing recently.
I mean, I feel like, Kellen, you understand the importance of the program. And so, it is going to be dialed in, and you do have feedback, and you're going to debrief the program and program, but it's run by people. And the more that you can sustain and care for and, have eyes like Jesus, and you see people that are burned out or tired or just need a break, and then pour into them, recognize that, meet them in their need. What a great little tip and an encouragement to me. Like, I'm doing junior high ministry with a ton of volunteers, and I think program first. And so great little reminder to, hey, check in on your people and not just make sure the countdown timer is right or the game was fun, but keep people first. Good stuff.
Love it. Man, you're good at this. They should pay you to do this stuff, Josh.
I feel I've said that for years. I would be anyhow. I actually, I do get to lead a session in the youth ministry side of the National Day of Training this year again, which will be a lot of fun. But you are a big part of the headline that Download Youth Ministry has launched a National Day of Kids Ministry Training. It is coming up this fall. Kellen and a bunch of others, Doug Fields will be there. He's now a grandpa, so he'll be delivering some serious kids ministry stuff. Exactly. Ricky Jenkins will be there. We got some phenomenal other women and men who will be sharing the truth of God's word and encouragement for your volunteers. And Kellen, 6'7", 170 pounds, which is, I'm neither of those things.
You are not yet. Oh, you are not. We are vastly different.
We're going to take a picture together on filming day, which is not too far away. And we'll post it for everybody to enjoy God's variety in his creations.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
But thanks for saying yes. Thanks for being part of the National Day. If you're interested in hearing Kellen and a host of other great communicators challenge your kids ministry volunteers this fall, the price goes up on April 1st. Just go to trainmyvolunteers.com. You aren't going to want to miss 4 easy wins with my boy Kellen. It's going to be great. Kellen, any final words to those that are watching today or listening on our podcast too?
Yeah. Sign up. Don't miss it. Invest in yourself to invest in others. It's going to be great.
Good word. Trainmyvolunteers.com. Thanks again, Kellen. We'll see you there. And you're going to train 20,000 kids ministry workers this year. How nuts is that?
Incredible. What an honor.
Little stage fright now. I get it. Yeah. Dude, I've seen you on some big stages. You're going to be just fine. Plus, it's like me and a camera and, a crew of people making you look good. So don't worry. We got you.
Oh, got the makeup ready. Going to shave the beard down a little bit. Looking scruffy.
Little trim.
Little
Do you have specific shoes that you're going to wear? Do you have like a strong sneaker game? Do you have like...
I do. I like...
Okay.
Pre-marriage, I was a sneakerhead. Post-marriage, she taught me that's not where our finances can go. And so I still have them because I keep them nice. So I don't know yet. Good. I don't know what I'm going to wear
That's
yet.
Good.
So
you know what? Next year you could teach 4 easy wins to stretch your sneaker budget when you get married. So that's good.
It's called Wait and then Ask on Father's Day.
That's a good. This has been a Marriage and Therapy podcast. I'm your host, Josh Griffin, and we just solved all your problems. Thanks, Kellen. That was super fun, man.